Hi, my name is Erica McDaniel, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm making my very first YouTube video. Yay! So exciting! So, I'm going to make this card for you, and basically this card is letting the designer series paper do all the work. It's just so beautiful. So it's a very simple card, very little stamping, but I can't take all the credit for this. Stampin' with Amy K did a gatefold card using this design. I didn't want to do a gatefold, so I did a standard bookfold card, and I basically cased her design there. And the designer series paper that I'm going to use is called One Horse Open Sleigh, and it's available for order starting July 6, 2023. As a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I was able to order this early, and so I can showcase this paper and show you what I made from it. It's very beautiful paper and very beautiful scenes in it. Look at that. And so I basically let all the designer series paper do the work. So let's get started. So basically, the base of this card is Misty Moonlight. And with a standard bookfold card, the base is 5.5 by 8 1/4, scored at 4 1/4. Then we have the layer that's behind designer series paper, and this is in early espresso. And this layer is 5 1/4 by 4. And the designer series paper I chose out of this is a wintry scene that is very beautiful. Look at that. And so we're going to get started, and we're going to cut this. We're going to cut the designer series paper at 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to cut this at 5 1/8. Get my score going right there. And so the width is going to be 3 7/8. And with this, you can decide if you want the left side, which shows more the tree there, or if you want the right side right here. So it's up to you to make the decision. So I want to feature this tree over here. So I'm going to take the cut on this side. So we're going to cut this down to 3 7/8. Right there. And you want to save your pieces because you're going to use your pieces. This designer series paper is 6 by 6. And so we're going to attach this. It's a very thin border, about 1/8 of an inch of border. So I'm going to use my liquid glue to give me some wiggle room before it sets. Gonna try to line up the corners there, corner to corner, right there. See? Very nice. See, that scene is very nice. Then I'm gonna go ahead and mount it to my card base. I like to open my card base up so it gives me a little more leverage in lining it up there. Okay. I'm going to try to center that corner to corner there. Okay. And then we have a strip that's across the center, and that strip is 4 inches by 1 1/8 there. And I want to lay this down before I put the designer series paper on top of that, because I want to make sure that it's lined up with the early espresso on the back. So I want to lay that down first. Get some over here. And I don't want it exactly in the center. I want to come down a little bit. Right there. And remember that strip that you cut off? Well, that strip is the perfect width to go across there. So I'm going to cut that strip down to 4 inches across. I want it to be even with the designer series paper there. It's about 1 1/8 inches. So I just want to cut it down to about 1/4 to 4 inches there. So I get out my paper trimmer there, make sure it's right side up. And I cut it down, make sure I'm in frame here. Cut it down to 4 inches. And can I layer it up here? And it coordinates beautifully with this paper because Misty Moonlight is one of the colors that coordinates in this paper. Okay. Whoops. I need to trim it down a little bit more. Okay. And then I have the 2-inch circle punch that I want to take out with the early espresso. These were very popular. They were going in and out of stock, so if you could, these are very good. Get your hands on one of these, but this is a 2-inch circle punch. And then I'm going to layer my sentiment on there. I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to do a little heat embossing. I have my embossing buddy here. This is Misty Moonlight. See, I cut. You want to lightly brush that over there. It leaves a little white film, but that'll wipe away. Oh, I didn't tell you. My greeting in my die I'm using is coming from the Brightest Glow set. This was a very popular set, and it's several sentiments that will fit in here, like joy, let your heart be light, all is bright, all is merry and bright, 'tis the season. And I'm going to use let your heart be light. And I have my Versamark ink here. And the thing with the circle punch is very forgiving. So if you have it a little bit off center, not to fret, you can just circle it around or move it around until it fits perfectly. I'm going to use light but firm pressure. Stamp it there, let the Versamark transfer. Let your heart be bright. And I'm using white embossing powder, and this came in with a trio. Is with the basics embossing powder. It has white, clear, and black, and I'm using white. Kind of let that sit there. And I really need my little tray out, but I'm going to gently tap that in there. Nice little flicker. Put that one on there. And the heat embossing tool can be kind of loud, so I'm gonna pause this and heat this up. So now we have that all heat embossed, and that looks lovely. And you don't want to overheat your stamp because it can burn. And with darker cardstock, you see the embossing buddy kind of leaves a white film there. And once it cools down, because you don't want to touch this before it cools down and settles, because you can smear all your hard work there. You can take a little light cloth and kind of wipe that away, and that'll be fine. That'll settle nicely. Okay, they're going to just dry. And then from the Labels Aglow, I have the circle die. I'm going to use that. See how that fits nicely? And I have my mini Stampin' emboss. I'm going to take this. You're going to use your base plate. There we go. And I have one plate that I use mainly for cutting. I'll flip that around. Slide that in here. Kind of center that out. I want to make sure it's centered. I'll put this on top. Just kind of make sure you stagger your plate so it'll catch. We have, and sometimes another trick is to use the gray plate. I find that using the gray plate will help it catch in there. You put this in here, center that back up. Number 2. There it goes. It takes a little minute. Let's go. Move this out of the way. Have your sentiment there. And it has not all the little, I had some little dots. You want to make sure they're poked out there before it gets on your card base. There you go. You want to adhere that to the early espresso. Kind of line that up in the center. There you go. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on dimensionals. And I'm using the black dimensionals because this is a darker card base there. And they have regular and the minis. And I'm just going to take a couple of the mini dimensionals there. Well, here, one in the center. These dimensionals off. The backing's off. You want to line this up in the center right here. Put it right here. There you have it. And then I want to add some bling. And these were the red and green adhesive back pearls that have red, they have silver, gold, and this like a seafoam green color. I'm not sure what color that is. Gonna take one right here. kind of put it over there. There you go. That's lovely. And then on the inside, you had some pieces left over from the inside. And I'm going to take about a half an inch of that on here. I'm going to lay it on the inside. I'm going to use the right side of my cutting board here to kind of line that up. I think a half an inch is pretty good. And because I'm going right up to the edge, I'm going to get out my silicone mat, because I'm going to lay the glue right along the inside. Want as close to the inside as possible. And the silicone mat just kind of protects my work surface. And I slide that up there. Kind of slide that down. And I snip the end. And there you have it. Okay. Christmas in July. Using the One Horse Open Sleigh Designer Series paper. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for stopping by.